Today's topic is going to be a hot one. People are really split on whether company pages are worth the time. Can you actually get leads from your company page, especially if you're a solopreneur or small business? Is it worth your time and effort that you have to put in to make a company page work? I'd love to know if you have a company page set up on LinkedIn, drop in the comments company page. And I'd love to know if yours is working for you. Are you getting leads? So this is what today's show is all about. Now, I have my own opinions on company pages, and I was getting ready to promote the show and do it by myself. And then I was like, wait a minute. I know someone who rocks it on company pages, and her name is Michelle Raymond. She is amazing. I'm going to bring her up in just one moment. She's going to share why she thinks company pages are the best thing since White Chocolate Macadamia Cookies. And she's going to tell us how we can increase our engagement using company pages with a few simple tips. Join us as we tear apart what works and what doesn't work for your company page, and then head over to the LinkedIn Living Room, our audio event, where we're going to continue the conversation and where you can actually come up on stage and have a conversation with Michelle and myself. We can talk about company pages, you can share what's worked or where you're getting tripped up. I'm going to drop the link for the audio event in the comments in just a moment. Before we get started, I've got to give a big shout out to StreamYard. High five! StreamYard is the official sponsor for this show, 15 Minutes of Fame. That's me. I'm Mary Fame Brandt. I'm your show host. You can find me here every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And this is where we drop 15 minutes of wisdom, tips, and trends for all my business owners and entrepreneurs. So mark your calendar. Now, enough about all that. Let's get the guest up on stage. Hello.
Why, hello. What an intro. I am ready for this one.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go. Bring it on. It's always an interesting conversation because people have lots of questions about company pages. So I am ready to answer them for you.
And I just want to say thank you. When I reached out, I was like, I honestly, you guys, was going to do this show by myself. And I was like, wait a minute. What? I'm going to do the show when I could and give my opinions. But why not bring the company page expert on, Michelle, and have her give us the best practices and tips. But before we get started, Michelle, where are you joining us from today? What part of the world are you in?
We are coming bright and early from Sydney, Australia. So all the way on the other side of the world. How awesome is LinkedIn? The fact that we can just make these kind of collaborations happen. Like that power is never lost on me.
Right. So I'm just checking the comments. Okay. So Bruce was saying it's not on the LinkedIn feed, but I see it. So Bruce, can you let me know? He said it's not in the feed, but I see it. So I'm just going to head over here real quick, you guys, and tell him go to.
How about while you do that, I'll introduce myself. That'll let you have a moment. So I'm Michelle J. Raymond, based down here in Sydney, Australia, and I am the LinkedIn Pages Whisperer. So I am a huge fan of LinkedIn Pages for businesses of all sizes. So I'm best known for writing the book with my co-author, Lynette Johnston. Quick plug while Mary's not here, Business Gold. If you haven't got a copy, it's the world's first book on LinkedIn company pages. That's how much I love them. The fact that I, got to write a book, which came about through another collaboration, literally started with a comment on somebody's post about company pages, turned into an invite to a podcast, which then turned into a listener asking me, Do I want to write a book with them? And so Lynette Johnston and I wrote the world's first. It's an international bestseller. So if you've got no idea where to start with company pages, we've already done that for you. So it's great to have everybody here. So here she is, the fabulous host. She's back again. It's back to you.
Thank you, Michelle. I'm just like tagging people. LinkedIn can be a little glitchy,
Glitch.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm just making sure I tagged Bruce and Jacqueline because I know Bruce showed up. Hi, Bruce. Thank you. So thank you for showing up, Bruce. Thank you for showing up, Jacqueline. The event link wasn't working, but I just tagged them over here. So the show must go on. So I want to share a rookie mistake that Michelle and I made. Michelle, do you mind if I share this mistake?
No, you can. I think there's, something
Okay.
in this for other people to
There's
learn from.
a
So I'm
lesson
all
to be
for it.
learned. So Michelle and I both are LinkedIn, trainers, consultants, speakers, call us what you want. So we know how to use the platform pretty well, right, Michelle?
I'd like to think so after 8 years. I think I know a
Yeah.
thing or two.
So we made rookie mistake that we had chimed in on comments, but we had never connected on LinkedIn until last week.
I know, but I find it so strange because we caught up on Zoom, we did all of that, and somewhere in amongst this, we've been disconnected or
Yes,
never
we
connected in
had
the
a
first
whole
place.
chat on Zoom last year or the year. It was a while ago.
I feel like, yeah, last year, definitely, it was
Last year.
ages. And then I
Oh,
see you on your LinkedIn Live with Brenda, and I'm like, I haven't seen Mary in my feed for a while. That's a bit strange. And then luckily you checked because otherwise we still wouldn't have been connected. So
so yeah,
crazy.
just a lesson learned. Just because you're talking with someone and maybe you've had a Zoom, make sure that you're connected with them on LinkedIn because I won't show up in your feed, right? Like you might once in a while, if one of your connections maybe comments on something or I were to tag you, but on that weekly basis, my amazing content, haha, is not going to show up in your feed. And then there's that disconnect because I want to see your stuff, you want to see mine, and we want to engage and support each other. So rookie mistake, make sure you're connected to those people that you're having conversations with.
Yeah, I'm going to blame the follow button with creator mode. Like, I still haven't quite adjusted to that one. I love connecting with people so I can, obviously have that two-way street. But yeah, that follow button, still not a fan.
Yeah, I have it turned on because I get too many connection requests.
Mm,
So switching from connect to follow um, has reduced some of the spam. So for
yeah, that's a small
me,
problem.
yeah, that's a little bit of a problem over here at MFB Consulting. So we're here to talk about company pages. So Bruce, I know you're here. Jacqueline, you're here. Sherry, I see you over here. If you guys have any questions about company pages, go ahead and drop the comments in the link. Or if you actually want to ask Michelle, we're going to jump over to an audio room at 12:30 and continue the conversation. But I'm going to share my opinion on company pages. I think they can work, but it's a lot of work. Okay, I know that's very vague. I think they can work, but it takes a lot of work to get them up and running and getting a following. I also don't really know if they can work for everyone. Although Brenda, our buddy Brenda, has an amazing company page and a pretty robust following. So I'd like to know, like, what is your first stab at that? Do they work for everyone? Or if you're a solopreneur and you have limited time, will it work for you?
I think the bigger opportunity is for solopreneurs.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah.
well,
Okay,
correct
right?
me.
So,
Tell me all about it.
so here's why I think that, because often it's, I'm a solopreneur, do I need one? It's a very popular question that I get asked. And here's what I want people to think about this. If you go onto a LinkedIn company page and create it for your brand, what actually happens is whether I am Google, Netflix, Microsoft, the world's biggest companies, Nike's got about 5 million followers on their company page. Regardless if you're a solopreneur, on LinkedIn company pages, we get the same size banner, same number of characters for our headline, same number of posts that we can do. It's unlimited. And so it's a really even playing field and a great way. Here's why I love it. I use my company page, and I'm a small business. I've got, the two of us in my business so far with some, other subcontractors. And so what I love doing is I use my company page to build up my personal brand, and I use my personal brand to build up my company. So both of them get more credibility. Both of them then get more reach. And over time, it's this 1 + 1 = 3. It's the synergy between the two, which is where the fun is. And for small businesses who I love to work with and solopreneurs, it's just an advantage that you can't turn away from. So that's my thoughts.
I like it. That's a new, fresh perspective. So we do have a question from Bruce. Bruce is the guy in the blue shirt, or Bruce the Brit. He is the co-host of LinkedIn Local Phoenix. So he's my co-host for our event on May 3rd. Shameless plug. If you're in Phoenix, you got to come out, because I'm talking that night, and I'm talking about, are you a hidden gem on LinkedIn, just like a speakeasy? So we're holding the event at an old speakeasy, and it's a hidden gem, and we're tying that into, do you know how to be found on LinkedIn? So enough about that. May 3rd, I'll drop the link in. Or Bruce, my buddy, can you drop the link in, please? So he has a question: frequency of posting. Now, I know, I feel like we can all kind of agree that on LinkedIn, on our personal profiles, it's one post a day. It's not Instagram, it's not Facebook, where more posting equals more engagement. LinkedIn actually kind of like puts their thumb down on that, and you won't get as much traction. Now, I heard on company pages, you can post as much as you want, it doesn't matter. But should you? Tell me what the answer is.
Look, and I think it comes back to your first point. Are they too much work? So if we're looking at solopreneurs and small businesses, it all becomes about time management. Like, you've got 50 different hats that you wear every single day, and LinkedIn company pages just happen to be, a small part of what you need to get done every day. So we need to go back and have a look, like, what's actually manageable. So LinkedIn would tell you that you can do 1 to 2 posts per day on your company page, no problems. When it comes down to that fact, is that actually realistic for most businesses if you don't have a team of 30 marketing people that can handle it all for you? Probably not. So let's go back a step and go, what's manageable, what's sustainable, and what can you do consistently? So I like to think of it more as, I call it like, it's the good trading code library. So it's not something that's going to show up in the feed. My company page is like something that you go and visit when you want to find out stuff. So if you want to know about company pages, come to my company page library. So you're going to have a poke around, you're going to go back, and you're going to have a look at not just one post. What I find is people binge watch. As I like to use the analogy of like Netflix, I only watch, shows that have got multiple seasons, because I don't want to just watch
like
one and have to wait.
If I find something, I'm like, well, how about this? Oh, it looks good. Oh, it's only got 1 season. Nope, can't start it.
Yeah, that's me.
Oh
That's me. And I see that when I look at my notifications. You can see what happens is people will come in and they'll like 4 or 5 different posts, because they'll obviously be looking for something. And so what I like to suggest to people is, if it's a workload issue, once a week is more than enough. Okay, so don't get stuck on having to try and do it every day. Waste of time. You've got better things that you should be doing to grow your business. But leave something there that's like the breadcrumb trail that highlights your expertise. And here's the tip: don't forget, you can repurpose your best performing posts that you've had over on your personal profile and bring them over onto your company page. Don't have to reinvent the wheel. And I think that's, where people come unstuck, is always trying to create everything from scratch. Take your best personal posts, bring them across onto your company page. Winning. You get to use it twice.
So that brings up another question. Many people use a scheduler, right? Maybe you have a Tuesday tip. So every Tuesday you're putting out a Tuesday tip for career seekers. So should you be posting that on your personal profile and company page on the same day, or do you need to do those alternating days or alternating times? What is best practices?
Look, I wouldn't do it on the same day, and I learned from my mistakes, so I'm going to share what actually happened. So I thought I'd get really creative one day, and I would batch make some videos. And I always wear a black polo, and the background was the same. And so I did 2 completely different videos, one for my company page and one for my personal profile. But when you see it in the feed, does it look any different? No,
Mm.
because people were just scrolling it, as we do. And so what actually happened was people thought they'd already seen it before. So they just kept on skating on by. And so what I would say is don't do it on the same day, but schedule it maybe a month out. You will not hit the same audience. And we're taught on LinkedIn, it's not really a big deal to just scroll on by things that we don't like. It's
Right.
the two-edged sword that we've got. It's easier to scroll past, and then we spend all that time stopping people from scrolling past.
Hate so hard. So Bruce has a question. Is it okay to post the same content on each page? And that's what we were just talking about. Now, let me take that a step further. You said post it a month out, but him and I have an in-person event coming up. I'm posting on certain days and he's posting on different days. We do have that, right? We've established what days I'll post about LinkedIn Local because we don't want him posting the same day I'm posting, right? That gets too promo, too salesy. However, if I'm posting on my personal profile, let's say Wednesdays and Saturdays about our upcoming event, are you saying I should not post that on Wednesdays and Saturdays on my company page and I should pick different days or?
Yeah, look, and obviously you've got an event coming up, so probably some of the rules go out the window because it's time critical, there's a deadline. But here's how I would do it slightly differently. One of the advantages of company pages is you've got an events tab. It is one of my favorite things. Between that and the video tab, my two favorite tabs on the LinkedIn company page that you don't get over on your profile. So what I would do is you create an event and then you can actually invite your first degree connections to attend this event. And good news, Bruce can do the same thing. He can invite people to that same event. So you can leverage your first degree connection. So if you don't have a company page that's got lots of followers, no dramas, you can actually just bring them across. So that's how I would manage it a little bit different. Use the features that are on company pages that aren't available on your personal profile and complement what you're doing. So I'm always looking for ways, how do I complement what I'm doing over on my personal profile with my personal brand? What are the tools that are over on company pages? Because ultimately they exist there because, say for instance, you had a much bigger event, it was a paid event, like ultimately you could do paid advertising on LinkedIn to make your message go further and more targeted. Now, I don't get into LinkedIn ads. Everything I do is organic on LinkedIn. But I just want people to know, like, that's an option. That's why company pages are different to your personal brands. So one, you're a slave to the algorithm. The other, you can obviously pay to get around that.
And we do create an event. I just did it on my personal profile that's got a larger audience. And we both invited people to that, our event just a month out now. And we've already sold tickets to it. And we also support a nonprofit with each event that we put on.
Amazing.
But I haven't created an event, to be honest, via my company page.
So the cool thing is, if you have a look at my company page, I do a weekly show, LinkedIn Live as well. And so I've got my guests for the next 3 months are all there. So if you go in and have a look at the events tab, you can see everything that's coming up. Maybe you want to see this week where I get to talk about company page new features, but upcoming, I've got some special guests. And so from that perspective, it lets me potentially show up in a search. It lets people, when they're having a sticky beat, going, what's Michelle up to? There's all these other events. So with events on personal, I love them. But what the problem is, they get lost. Like I had a look today when I was finding this event. I've got 140 events that are showing in that little tab on the left-hand side, 140. But if I go onto the company page,
it's crazy. So they get lost. So using your company page for events is it's easier to direct people there and say, check out my company page for all my upcoming events.
Absolutely. And then the other thing
totally
is,
makes sense. I like that tip.
You still get the advantage of all your first degree connections that you can invite. So for those people, you get 1,000 invites per week across events. So that's more than enough for most people to do what they need to do. You have to, I think if you are friends with company pages, you have to be friends with invitations. They don't, you really have to take matters into your own hand. You don't get the benefit of the much bigger numbers that you've got over on your personal profile. But if you use the tools that are there, so inviting people to follow your page or inviting them to events, you'll have successful events. And that's why I love it.
I can wrap my head around that one. I like the events over on the company pages. Bruce, did you make a note of that? Jacqueline, did you make a note of that?
And here's the other thing, Mary. This is what the other reason why I like to do it. So you and I both love LinkedIn Lives.
Mhm.
And so what happens is I create the event for my LinkedIn Live. So it goes and sits on my company page. As soon as I finish the live, it sits on the video tab, never to be lost again. So lives on personal
Let's
feed.
wait, back up. Everybody, stop right now. Grab your phones, record this, write it down, because our biggest frustration for people that go live is our videos get lost. There is no video tab on your personal profile. I haven't played over on my company page in a while, obviously. There's a friggin' video tab, and all my lives would be over there.
It's like my own YouTube channel on LinkedIn. So if you have a look at
It
mine,
show's
and this
over.
is,
We're done.
yeah, mic drop.
Mic drop.
My work here is done. Okay, bye. It's been fun. We only
That,
needed
how
10
did I
minutes.
not know that? Well, things are always changing and moving and shaking.
Yeah. And if people haven't had a look at a company page in the last 12 months, I encourage them to go back and have a look. I'm the first person to tell you about their shortcomings because they were a pain. They were not fun from an
Yeah.
admin perspective. We know the reach isn't there. So if anyone is out there listening and saying, Michelle, we don't get reach, I understand that. That is not going to change anytime soon. So if we remove the blinkers and the mindset of what's the point if we don't get the same reach as personal profile, and here's what I would say to you. This is my favorite line that I'm using at the
Okay.
moment. Would you ask a fish to fly? No.
No.
Right? So stop asking company pages to perform the same as profiles.
Oh,
They're
I like
not the
that.
same.
So what I hear you saying, Michelle, is that we need to change our mindset of what we're expecting out of a company page, yet they're still useful for different areas. Now
Yeah.
that I can wrap my head around, and I can support that 100%.
Yeah.
So I am now
Complementary.
sold. I'm now sold.
Complementary. Yeah. That's what we're always looking at, right? So we're looking at how can I use the different tools like the events tab, like the video tab on the company page to help lift the personal brand and vice versa. So there are a couple of the features that are over on the company page that aren't on your personal brand. I hate when content just slips down the feed like yesterday's news that we throw out. It's
Yeah.
criminal. It makes me sad. I'm like, no, I want to reuse it, repurpose it. And again, if you're making micro content out of this, particular live that we're doing, it would sit on the video tab. You could upload it as well. So again, we're looking at how many different ways can you make the same piece of content stretch and have a longer lifespan. And so the video tab on company page is one of my favorites.
How long is that video? I see my videos there.
Yeah,
So
quite a while. So,
now, do
but
you
if
go live on your personal page or your company page?
No, so I've tried both, and sometimes, like I did a pop up one on my personal profile not that long, a couple of weeks back, just for fun, and I knew that I was going to be repurposing that video in other ways behind the scenes, so I was okay that it was going to disappear, and it was just something different. It would be a different audience. I didn't, I literally decided 2 hours before I was going live that I was going to do it, and so it didn't work to have to rely on event invites. And so most of the time I go on my company page because
Oh,
I want it to live for much longer. And I have to do invites and I have to make them targeted. So spam is spam,
ugh,
right? It doesn't matter where it
yeah.
comes from. If I'm going to be doing invites about, small business owners, blah, 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 then how about I take the effort to actually send it to people who are small business owners? And so it takes me time. But the more targeted I am, the more it's seen as valuable and the more people will come back, and join in hopefully on other shows.
Okay. So the company page has a video tab, which the personal profile doesn't. So short recap. Why to use the company page? If you're someone who goes live, like Bruce, who's watching, using your company page, it has a video tab. Therefore, when people go to your company page, they can binge watch, right, some of your content. Now, Bruce says he sends people to YouTube, and I get that. But I'm that person. If I'm on this platform, I'd rather just stay on it. But not to say that sending people to YouTube is not a bad thing. He also says he loves. I love the video tab idea. Would you ask a fish to fly? So we can only go live on either our personal profile or our company page. I want to make that clear right now to everyone who's watching or watching the replay. You cannot go live on your personal profile and your company page at the same time. So if you go live on your company page, it's awesome because there's a video tab. Why they don't have that on personal profiles? I don't know. But you have to sit and invite people, because I don't feel that people are going to find it as easily, because I have a much larger, diverse network on my, followers and connections on my personal profile versus my company page, because I haven't tried to grow it. Oops.
So here's the other flip side to that. So I have about, I don't know, I think it's around 8,000 followers on my personal profile.
Oh.
And I have about, I think it's a couple of thousand just under for my company page, right? So about 4 times more on my personal profile. And so logic would say, Michelle, you're missing out. But actually, it's the other way around. 2,000 people, I would say at least 95% of them want to know about company pages. If you go to my personal profile, I come from the beauty industry, selling chemicals that go and make all skincare and hair care products. And that's how I built my network on LinkedIn. Is I have an amazing community that was built in that space. So probably around 5,000 of them are all around chemicals and beauty, and could not care less about company pages. And so for me, one's a niche targeted, I've got a high likelihood that they're of interest. On my personal profile, chances are a bit hit and miss. So again, that's another reason why I like doing it over on my company page. Think niche, think target.
Oh my God, so much valuable tips and just targeted information that you're sharing with us. I'm kind of mind blown on. I've gone on my company page, but I didn't go and see that there was a video tab. So thank you, Bruce. He's telling someone where it's listed for the replay. They're interested in that. So this is really great. So you're really opening my mind of how to use a company page, not if it's valuable, but how to use it to get value out of it. If we're thinking that we're going to have a bigger following there or get more traction, that's not the case, but that doesn't mean that company pages aren't worth it. As a matter of fact, I'd like to end this show saying company pages are worth it if you use it for the features that it has built in. So I love that. Thank you. Bruce says, I'll put his quote up, focus, keep it simple, keep it recycling. I'm all about repurposing. But I am going to talk to my VA about doing the posts on different days. Because right now I'm guilty.
So one of the cool things, you do your StreamYard, you can go in and download the recording, chop it up like your VA does, and put it as your content over there. So if it's a time concern or a resource concern, there are many different ways that you can reuse the tons of stuff. If you're posting every day, you have got stuff coming out of everywhere. And so why not just, instead of it just going again like yesterday's news, why don't we put it somewhere where it lives that people can come and borrow it? Like just like
they can find it, because you can't find stuff.
No, it's impossible.
Easily, although it does help if you guys follow my hashtag Train with FAIN. That's my new hashtag. Follow that. If you put that in the search bar, my content will come up. So there's one bonus tip for you. So Michelle, we're going to wrap this up, but we're going to jump over to the audio room, and you have that, right? You have that link. We're going to jump over to the audio room, and we're going to answer some questions, more questions about company pages. Bruce, I hope that you'll join us. Lenore, I hope that you can join us, and Jacqueline. And what I'd like to do over there is maybe talk about what kind of content is good for a company page. Because I have some ideas written down. Thank you, Bruce. Oh, God, Bruce, you are like my hero today. Thank you for showing up. My partner, my co-host Bruce is saving my day because he knows I've been sick for a week. Bruce, follow Bruce, the guy in the blue shirt. He's amazing. So we're going to jump off here. We're going to jump over to the audio event. And I am, before we go, because I said I would do it, and I haven't. And if I sound funny, you guys, it's because I'm sick. So that cool voice, if you're hearing this and think it's cool, it's just because I'm sick.
And if I sound funny, it's because I'm Australian. It's not my fault.
So I'm going to put right now link to audio event. And I hope that you guys can all join us to continue the conversation. And what is really cool about audio events is you can come up on stage and ask questions. You don't have to be camera ready. Just come over there. I'm going to give an intro of how audio events work so you can all join us and ask your questions and share some more. So we've got other people that said they're attending that. So Michelle, let's jump off. It's 12:29 to the Bat Cave, to the Bat Car, to the Batmobile. Right. I'll see you over on the audio event.
I can't wait. See you guys there.
Okay. Bye.